When I was driving from New York City with all my stuff out to LA for AFI, the car broke down midway through, and it's like it felt so symbolic. It was like either I go back to New York because everything was telling me to go back home, and then there was like I keep going and I get to LA and I get to AFI, and like I just don't leave until I can pay my bills doing what I love. When I did send them the script, one of the things is that I printed out the script. I sent it to all of them as hard copies because I wanted them to understand that this is going to be kind of existing outside of how films are generally done. I wanted to harken back to some of the films that I was very inspired by in the 90s that just felt like the stakes could be very high, but it could still be a small scale. I added a letter saying I was sending it to the other actors simultaneously. This is who I wrote it. I wrote it for them. Gonna shoot this on film. I was gonna shoot this on location in a real apartment. I was gonna shoot this as much as possible in order, that I'd have Final Cut, that we would be the group of filmmakers together. Like this would be ours, that we'd start as a real team. Starting with that first shot on the first day, very clear that they were game. They had never met each other, but they were fans of each other's. And we started shooting that first scene and that first shot of long take, and she's just a force. I mean, and you could feel this ripple go from Carrie Coon to the other actors all the way through the crew, which was like, oh, this is someone swinging with everything that they have from the very beginning. And it just was intoxicating and encouraging. First off, I found myself being these different people throughout this experience. So like that thing of shifting from sister to sister and their approach was something that I like very quickly was able to find myself into. And then there was elements that started revealing themselves that wasn't me. So like Katie's relationship to her family, that was something that's like not my own story, but just that she's like dealing with this family that seems to be like, you know, a lot of chaos, especially without her there. Like that's something that I've lived around, but it's more than anything that the sisters are speaking to themselves. The father it really felt like the kind of like a spirit of cinema more than anything. And it was a way for me to just kind of deal with an entity more than a specific person. And so that when we got to that Bliss story, Bliss is somebody that I think about all the time who's no longer with us. And it was a way for me to kind of talk about a fundamental love in my life, and that's how I found my way into each of these characters.